When you come in, like this, see that? See where my toe points, that's the direction he's going to fall. Now shift the hip right in there, and I'll toss him. You could use a Harai.
So as soon as that rotates up through there like that, the one step, pull him up with you. He's on one foot. Sweet.
What we're going to work on here is when you're doing this Tsuri Goshi movement, okay, and this cross body action, we're going to, if we were doing it just to the hip like Tsuri Goshi, you'll see that difference with that first thing. But what we're going to emphasize now is the leg sweep, the sweeping with the leg, because that would be, a lot of you I see are doing this kind of a natural thing. So let's make that work for you better, okay? So can you demo the basic move? So the basic move is this. He's got a nice Tsuri Goshi action here. He's got a bent over opponent. Derek's one coming laterally, sideways. He's stepping across, and he's just tossing Tsuri Goshi, kind of a semi-uki Goshi too, right? Now, when he's bent over like this, I'm going to think about the grip. Throws start with a grip. So we'll turn around here. Look, the grip is going to be like this. I'm going to get my right hand not over his back, but around his upper arm here, around his deltoid, his shoulder area. And I'm going to grab the judo gi here where it's strong to me. A lot of judo gis are made with the seam here, and that's a good handle. Okay, so that's a good handle to grab there. You got that. And what you want to do is put your heel of your hand. This is very important. The key feature in this throw. Use the heel of your hand a lot. You'll see what I mean in a second. So like this, and clamp him down. So he's bent over. He thinks, oh, he's a power guy too. We're going to have this, two rams butting heads. This thing happen. All right, so we got that. All right, so there's that grip. What I'm doing, I'm effectively what I call killing his shoulder. I'm dominating the whole left side of the shoulder, making it useless to him. Right? So I've got that. All right. On the other hand, I'm going to experiment with the different grips where you want to. Sometimes he might not let you have a hand. You may have to grab him by the lapel. Okay, then you'll do that. But the ideal situation would be if I can grab right around here, around where his elbow is. Okay. Some guys, if they're really far out, and if he's really stuck out, you might have to grab here, really low on the sleeve. See that? Really low on the sleeve. See that? So if I have to do that, that's what I'll do. But a lot of times they'll be close enough you can get your hand right here about the elbow. So I've got a pretty good judo grip here, my kumikata, my gripping. All right, now, what I want to do, I don't want to start facing him. I don't want to be facing him this way. I want to be leading with my foot. In judo, we call it the dayashi, the advancing foot, like dayashi barai. It's dayashi, it's the advanced foot. I always call it the sugar foot. It's like, it's a little, they give him a little sweet to bait him, and I picked that up off wrestling, but the sugar foot there, okay? So I've got my foot pretty much in the middle of his body. See that? So that's the position. You want to start right to finish this right. So start right to finish right. So I've got him here. All right, now what's going to happen, with my left foot, I'm going to step sideways. And as I do that, I'm going to start pulling him and using the heel of my hand to drag him along with me. Okay? So let's look back here. This hand, I'm going to use this I always call it bullying him with your hand. Pushing him with the hand like this. Okay? So as I start to step on, and I'm going to lift him up onto my hip. So this is a Tsuri Goshi, lifting hip. So as I come up, I'm going to step and lift him up onto my hip. See that? Everybody see that movement there? I'm lifting up here on my hip. Okay? So I step in here, and I lift him up on the hip, and I'm just now, the other foot's going to step in front of him, and I toss him. He's going to start working. If you can't get your hip in, if your hip's a little shallow, you can use a nice leg action here to make it a Harai Goshi. So let's look at that. Coach?
So first thing is grips, underneath grip, thumb inside, and then rotate up. So your thumb ends up being down, and you're pulling his whole arm up, okay? Second thing with that other grip, as you're coming in, you're not coming over to get that grip, because then he just comes back around and then it's a fight. I want to come around, okay? And then as I take that step, you really pull him up, and you see how he's already on one foot. And that's pretty important for the Harai part. So as soon as that rotates up through there like that, the one step, pull him up with you. He's on one foot. sweep, okay?
Can you do the back end of this? They can
Sure.
look at his surite, his lifting hand. Watch his lifting hand on Daniel's back here. Can you see this?
Okay.
And again, he's going to be actually lifting with this. They couldn't see that from the other angle.
Right.
Watch this.
So once you get that grip there, and I start with this, lift him into you, okay? You're hugging him in tight, you're getting him on one foot, okay? This is still pushing out in front, okay? Foot, head is all pointed that way. Reaping leg comes up, point the toe, and reap backwards. Okay, so if you have, it's especially helpful because he's on the one foot, right? You've got him going like this anyways. So reaping that leg out from underneath him should just be easy. And it works especially well if he's, you know, continues to start backing up, right? So I can take that step and he starts backing up again. And then you can just reap the leg out. Okay?
The key thing is that was laterally. That's cross the body. That's why we call it cross body. That's why he's coming across the body, not trying to lift him and throw him forward and change the direction. He's going in the direction where Daniel is actually quite weak here.
Yeah.
Okay. The key thing here, guys, is not to go this way. I don't want to try to pull him this way because he will resist backward. Okay, he's going to stop that. And by the way, see this here? He may put that there. I'm still going to beat him if I pull here like this. I've nullified his arm. So look at his arm. He's posting here. And generally in judo, he'll get in trouble for that pretty quick. But if he doesn't, he's like this, and I try to throw him forward, that stops it, right? Okay. So if I throw him sideways over here, see that? Pull him in, it kills that arm. So it makes his arm useless in a defensive situation. Okay, so the side movement, one last thing, then I'll let you practice. And when you come in, like this, see that? See where my toe points, that's the direction he's going to fall. Now shift the hip right in there, and I'll toss it. You could use it. Watch the action here.
Okay? Foot is going the way I want to throw him. So it's pointed that way. Okay? I'm not doing this. Okay? So, make sense? Everything's pointed that way. He's already pulled up nice and tight. Toes pointed, reap the leg through.
Watch, the pointing of the toes on the sweeping leg, the Harai leg, is really, just coming slowly. Watch how he's pointing his toes. See that? That's a key factor here. Don't club him with the heel of your foot. You don't want that.
Right.
By pointing the toe, you have a lot more strength in that leg, and you'll have a lot more control of his body. Watch how he's pointing his toes. See that? That's a key factor here. Don't club him with the heel of your foot. You don't want that.
Right.
By pointing the toe, you have a lot more strength in that leg, and you'll have a lot more control of his body.
And it also has a tertiary, a third aspect to it, that it hooks if you have to follow through. So if you have to ken or hop around to get a second attack on him, instead of having my leg like this and bounce off him, you try and reap, it doesn't work, that hooks, and you can follow through.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch, that's a really good point, because it's like a lever of control there.
Catch, doesn't work, hop.
Turned it into Osotogari, didn't he? Huh.
Good.
Ken Osotogari.
Ken Osotogari. Okay? So point the toe, reap through. Okay? Good. All right. Reaping leg comes up, point the toe.